When you're over 50, you have new lives. You have new bodies. You have new goals and you have a new image. It's not, going downhill. You got a whole uphill to go.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. Okay.
Did you push record?
Thank you so much for tuning in to our second act with Paige and Silka. Today we have our expert segment, and I'm so happy to welcome back Scarlett to Bease to our program. Scarlett, thanks so much for joining us again.
Thank you.
So Paige and I had a really interesting discussion. I ran across this article called "Enclothed Cognition," and I just kind of literally ran across it. But I thought of you right away because it talks about the importance really of clothing, what you project to the world, and how that affects you psychologically. And being, old psych major and all that, I love that kind of stuff. And being somebody who hates to shop and doesn't pay attention to her clothing, I thought, well, maybe I should. So tell us about that. What is enclothed cognition, and does that affect what you do?
Yeah, it does. It does affect. So what happens is what a person wears. So we'll say for now, women, because that's who we're really talking about here, affects how she feels about herself. And the way you feel about yourself then is how you project yourself. So when a woman chooses to hide, because maybe she says she doesn't care about clothes, or she always wears like oversized clothes, or always wears black. When she chooses to hide, she's missing out on the opportunity to make herself feel better. Because let's face it, if you're choosing to hide, how good can you feel about yourself?
That's a
You know,
really interesting point.
and if you choose to be seen, meaning just to dress in a way that makes you happy, you'll be noticed more, and in a good way, not in a bad way. So I think it's really important for women to realize that how they dress totally affects how they come off. But the most important thing is how they feel about themselves. I mean, I have a lot of clients who, when they reach their 60s, 70s, will contact me because, and here's the thing, that women, we keep looking back. Well, if I could just get my body back where it was, like it was that easy. And when women, I wish, when women realize that they are no longer going to be who they were, and they can stop looking back and start looking forward, then they tend to contact me and say, okay, now I want to take care of me and stop like wishing and wanting and deal with the now. So then how they dress really affects then how they feel.
Well, that's an interesting point you bring up about looking back versus forward, because just because we aren't or what we used to be, that doesn't mean that we can't be better going forward. So that's a
Exactly.
whole attitude change right there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and what I found so interesting about this whole psychology of clothing is that, what we believe about the clothes, we project. Well, for example, the whole power suit, you hear power suit. But according to the study that they did, when you put that on, you are more apt to do, you're more capable of doing business. At the same time, you can't relax as well or socialize as well, or putting on
Right.
this, I like this, putting on gym clothes, that you're actually more likely to exercise.
Right.
So I think understanding these sorts of things, like as you said, in going forward,
Mhm.
that psychology of clothes. How do you? I mean, you almost are like a little bit of a psychologist when you work with women.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, look, a woman, as she gains some weight when she gets older, it's very, very hard. But I have plenty of clients who are a size 4 and feel like they got stomachs and they don't feel any better about themselves than somebody who's a size 24. So what I need to do with women is to help show them that they are actually very beautiful, but they've been so busy telling themselves that they're not, that when I show them how beautiful they can be, they can see it. because they're not listening to their own voice anymore. They're listening to me. But if you just listen to your own inner chatter, I mean, you can make yourself really, bonkers.
Right. Well, you made an interesting point earlier when you said, you buy or you choose clothing that hides you. How can you give us an example of how you would unhide someone?
Let's say, I live on the East Coast, and so black is a big thing here. So a lot of women will wear like only black. Okay. So now so they think black recedes. So, you're kind of disappearing right then and there. And when I show them that there's, even if it's just a scarf or a necklace that matches their eye color, for instance, that brings some interest to the outfit, it totally changes how she looks and how she feels. Because women, like you, have beautiful eyes. Women have, for the most part, very unique, beautiful eyes. And so if you can bring out the sparkle in the eyes and the color in the eyes, you transform how you look, and then you transform how a person feels. So I've had clients who are convinced that there's nothing out there in the world for them that'll make them look better. So they have convinced themselves they just should wear all black. And typically all black, large clothes, like more flowing, the better, like Stevie Nicks on steroids, and so I show them how they can wear things that will bring out their features and not make them disappear so much. And I have to tell you that what happens with a woman when she changes her outfit, meaning not always the same old, try something different, adds little color, for instance, she stands taller. So that's the thing that a lot of my clients say to me, is that I actually find myself standing taller now. Because, when we're not so sure of ourselves, we tend to hunch over, and when you stand taller, not only do you look taller, obviously, but you actually look thinner and you look a little younger. And you'd be surprised how that changes a person's behavior. When you're wearing something that makes you feel confident, you start to act confident. And that vibe, like in that video, it really comes across. Either you're gonna look like the professional that you are, or you're gonna be more personable or more inviting to people. But anything you can do to avoid hiding is the best thing a woman can do for themselves.
What's an interesting point, Scarlett, that women hold themselves back? Why is that?
I can have some ideas. Being a non-licensed therapist that I am with women.
Well, we are talking about the psychology of clothes.
Right. What I've discovered is that a lot of women, even before they work with me, they'll tell me that they want to change something about themselves before they make a change, which is really kind of interesting. So they want to improve how they dress. They want to stop stressing out about what to wear. They want to stop wasting money in the stores. But first, I want to lose weight. Usually what they say, or I want to go to the gym and tone up. So they want to change something before they make a change. And what all that really is just a way to waste more years. Whatever you do in your life, whether it's the clothes you wear, or you stop smoking, or you start exercising on a regular basis, nobody ever says, oh, gee, I wish I waited longer to make that change. It really is.
Well, and, again, to reiterate, to me, it's a revelation, maybe to you not, that, really the psychological effect that clothes have. So yes, make that decision, move forward, and make the change you want. Obviously you would agree with that, correct?
I'm just saying, women, stop making excuses and take care of yourself.
Because you can feel better just by making the right clothing choices. But I guess the takeaway for me especially is just really understand the psychology of clothes and how making the right choices will make you feel better, can change the whole course of your life. Well, obviously you specialize in working with women over 40, 50, those of us in our second act of life. So I would encourage our viewers contact you. Let's close out for today. It was great talking with you again. We'll link to all of your information, in the video description, and hope to see you again soon on another episode of Our Second Act.
Thank you.
Bye. So glad you were able to join us today. For more fashion tips after 50 with Scarlett, I linked some of our previous interviews right here. Check them out. And if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please just take 1 second to do so. Button's right here. See you soon. Bye.